Morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have an Alfa Romeo 4C, which I rented from Turo. I do not own this, but it is on my list of potential cars to buy. Here's my first impressions. Let's go. So inside the Alfa Romeo 4C, this has been a long waiting. This has been something I've been wanting to do for a while. It's an automatic, but it is a dual clutch automatic. Yo. Whoa, okay. Did not want to start. Oh my God. Okay, I am sweating. Give me a chance to cool down. All right. Some trouble is turning on now for Romeo. I started it up at the place where I picked up the car, and you know, let's drive because it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna put this into number one. You guys can't see it right now, but there, maybe I'll show you. Pressing number one, the e-brake is down, and it's a dual clutch automatic, so I should be able to just drive off. This is an interest. Okay, I'm all smiles on the way here, and then I get out of the car, start filming, and then all of a sudden you go to turn the key and nothing happens. And I even went online to go and find out what was going on, see if I got any suggestions. And you gotta get the steering wheel to make sure while the key's in there to kind of get loose and moving. Some even suggested to kind of move around the up and down the lock switch, and even then it wouldn't want to crank, but it was finally giving some life, and then it finally started. I should have got that recorded, but wow, interesting, very interesting. That's something I gotta keep my eye on with this car, because other than that, driving the Alfa Romeo 4C to the spot where I started, nothing but smiles. Very interesting, because it's a dual clutch automatic. It feels very much so like a stick shift, and not in the sense like other cars I've mentioned where, you know, they shift on their own and shift down like a stick shift. This one really does. It has the rollback on any little hill. It won't move unless you're pressing the gas like a stick shift. That is the biggest thing of it, the dual clutch automatic, is that it won't just, like, you know, on a normal automatic car like most people drive, you let go of the brake, it starts moving forward, backwards, without you having to press the gas. Now that's if you're in drive or reverse. Obviously neutral, any car is just gonna roll whichever way the, you know, gravity is sending it, right? But with this one, it will not budge. As you know, on a flat surface or anything like that, if you're on a flat surface and you press that number one, it won't budge unless you press the gas. And it does that little rocking thing if you're on a slight hill, just like a stick shift. And I hope you guys can hear that. I have yet to put this car into its sports mode. Now this one, it's pretty cool. It's DNA, and dynamic, it's like it's sports mode. And then I believe the N was natural or something like that. That's kind of like your comfort mode. That's the mode I'm in right now, and the mode I was in all the way through here. And then you have your A for the DNA, which is all weather. And now I'm starting to think, is this a sign? Germs DNA. That's my channel name. That was also for the longest time what I went by for a lot of different social media platforms. And that's funny, it's DNA. But yeah, first impressions of the car. Like I said, all smiles on the way here, but that whole, like, having difficulty starting. And another thing you guys didn't see is that getting this camera, it would just not suction. I don't know what this glass is made out of, but it did not want to stay on. I'm surprised it's holding on now, because it was feeling secure and then not staying on. And I gotta get, you know what, I'm gonna turn off the AC now that I've cooled down, because I was burning up trying to get this car to start. We got a tunnel coming, and we gotta press this gas. And that's not in sports mode, y'all. That thing is ridiculous. Oh my God, this is cool. This is a really cool car. Feels like a go-kart down to the ground. It's one of those, when you come across those speed bumps, and I was mentioning it, if you guys follow me on the channel, I was mentioning it with the Corvette. You see those speed bumps and things like that, you really want to be careful. With this one, it's more than just those speed bumps. It could be anything on the ground that is not normal, not even, which exists a lot in certain places in California, let's be honest. You feel like you gotta carefully, gingerly get away from those things without trying to go over them. That's the feeling of this car. It's like a go-kart. It is planted. And I've driven the S2000. I have a Porsche Boxster. I've driven a Miata. And I gotta say, this one, it's funny, every time the first time I've driven those cars, the immediate feeling is like, it's like a go-kart. And those feel like tall go-karts compared to this. This thing is, you feel like you're on the ground. And let's see, oops, I'm pressing the wrong button. I don't know what button I was pressing. But we're gonna soon head to my spot where I really give this little twisty turn feel to it, or drive to it, I should say. But here goes the speed bump. That gracefully, gingerly going over it. Get back on that gas. Now, when I was reversing this out of the owner's driveway, he was looking right at me, and I was thinking, don't mess this up. Like, that's the kind of feeling you have driving this car. Just the way it sits, the way it feels, the way it looks. It just feels like one of those cars where, like, please don't mess up this car. You wouldn't want to mess up anyone's car, right? But no matter what the car is. But this one, it just gives you this, like, I want to be careful. And I said that about the Corvette, and it's funny because I said that about the Corvette at this exact same spot right here. This is the same feeling where you don't want to be around other cars too much. With this one, you want to just be out in the road, just you and the car, or maybe you and a car and a significant other, and just enjoy it for what it is. Ooh. Okay, at least, you know, I've been in worse cars. I used to own a BMW where it was lowered, and those speed bumps would have been like a seesaw. But so, okay, it's not that bad, but for stock, it does make you take these speed bumps very seriously. We're going around them. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring it down, or bring it up actually, to dynamic, and let's see what it does here in the twisties. So far, the sound is about the same. I mean, it sounds good all around. And, whoa, okay, the downshift on its own is pretty crazy. Wow. Now, the owner was suggesting, you know, don't drive this with one hand on the steering wheel. Use both hands, and oh man, this thing is fun. Yee. Wow. The handling on this is just, oh my God, gives you confidence. Oh man. And that sound, oh my God, this thing. Here we go, it's gonna downshift on its own. Oh yeah, that's nice. Caught that right there. I mean, this is, I hate to say it, but this is more thrilling than being on my motorcycle now. It could be because the way I ride my motorcycle. Maybe if I rode it a little bit faster, it'd be, oh man, so planted. It really does feel like a stick shift. It feels straight up, and this is in full automatic. It does have a mode where you could shift with the paddles, but honestly, like, with this dual clutch transmission, I don't want to. I want this thing to just do its thing. I don't want to mess up the driving experience. Wow. This is a lot of fun, y'all. You don't have, oh, okay, this is where I could push it right here a little bit. Oh my God. Oh shoot, okay, that is quick. Oh, okay, I'm on the brakes. Ooh. Jeez. Why am I tired? I wish this was my car. I really do. This is, oh my God. This thing is everything. This thing is everything. Honestly though, when I was driving it out of the neighborhood of the owner's neighborhood, I was thinking to myself, I wish this was a manual transmission. And of course, you know, as humans, we can't shift the way these things shift. But then again, when you're driving through these twisties, these type of roads, you don't need it to be that fast. You just need to know what gear to be in at what moment. So yeah, I wish it was a stick shift. If you guys follow me on the channel, you know I'm a big fan of driving manual transmissions. My Abartha is a manual transmission. My Porsche is a manual transmission. Trent's Fiat 500 is a manual transmission. We just pretty much have our like two commuter cars, or our SUV and our commuter cars are the two automatics. Now I mentioned this before in other videos. Now I do have two lists of cars. One list is a list of cars I want to rent on Turo. It doesn't necessarily mean I want to buy them in the future. I just want to try them. Now this car is the first car I've rented on Turo that is on both lists from the beginning. Now what I mean is the C7, after I drove it on Turo, I decided to put it on my list of potential cars I have in the future. But this one was already on the list of potential cars to buy in the future. And even though it only comes in an automatic transmission, I was okay with that. I have my stick shifts, my manual transmission vehicles, but this is something special. And the price, it's actually for a used one. This one in here is a 2015. I do not know how much the owner paid for this vehicle, but he and I, when we were talking about the prices of these cars, we both know that they're around $40,000 for a used one. They're all pretty much low miles because no one's driving these cars. I mean, when's the last time you seen one of these cars in person drive by you? You know, like, you don't see them that often. It's a funny car because the engine's in the middle, and you know, when you have an engine in the middle or down below like a Tesla does, well, those are batteries, but that usually means you have a frunk as well. This car doesn't have a frunk. I really don't know why. There's probably something going on in there. It looks like it's a hood, but it's not a hood. You can't open it. It's only to make parts cheaper in case you do crash and something happens. You don't have to replace the whole thing. You replace whatever needs to be replaced. But the point I'm trying to arrive at is that you'll probably find these low miles because people are not daily driving them, because they're not as practical as you think they would be with a two-seater mid-engine vehicle. Now, you know, the Boxster, in my opinion, can be a convenient daily driver, or even on a nice road trip, because it has a frunk and a trunk, which means you're probably going to drive it more. This car, on the other hand, only a trunk, which I barely fit my backpack in. That's it. It doesn't even have a glove box. It has like this little thing in the back where you could stick maybe a phone or your insurance information, and that's it. So yeah, my whole long point about that was that because it's not the most practical, convenient car you could buy, you could probably find these with low miles and at a pretty decent price. I think $35,000 to $40,000. The only thing is, I'm pretty sure it's slim pickings. And then again, this one, I don't know if I mentioned before, this is the hardtop one. This is you probably have an easier time finding one where the top is removable and fits in the trunk. This one, on the other hand, is just a full-on, just a solid top, just a hard top. And I think, honestly, although it is always cool and a nice flex to like take the roof off and let the sun in, the look of this one, the hardtop, the way it comes down, and it might be the same argument people have about the Cayman versus the Boxster, same thing with this, that nice sleek look of just one whole piece is actually very striking, very good looking with this car. The other thing is, as you're looking through this rearview mirror, it's such an interesting look. You have this tiny little window that looks into the back, and then in the back there's another window that slants. That's where you can see the car behind you. And then there's also these vents that are open, you know, for the heat from the engine. You could see through those as well, and you see your engine. There's just so much to look at when you're looking behind you in this rearview mirror. It's just amazing. It looks so cool. It's definitely something very different. I was even getting thumbs up on this road that I used to come up here. I was getting thumbs up even by motorcyclists. Such a cool car. I think my first impression of this is, I think I gotta have this car. You know, I have my other toys, I have my daily commuter, I have my motorcycle, but this is a different level, I think. I have another YouTuber friend that I follow that recently bought one of these Alfa Romeos. His name's Mikey Turbo, and he has an Abarth as well, and he has one of these, and he hasn't posted too much content about his Alfa Romeo yet, but one thing he did say was like, hey guys, I got a supercar, right? And like, I get what he's saying. Like, this does have a feel of like a supercar, because when you come in, and you guys will see, I'm gonna do a tour of the car. Watch that video, because you can see all the cool parts of this car. Is that this is a carbon fiber tub that we're sitting in, much like a McLaren. I mean, that's a supercar. You know, carbon fiber, it's exposed. I could see on the ground as I'm hopping into this car that it has a carbon fiber tub that I could actually see. And also, when you're looking out these mirrors, you could see the scoops on the sides of the vehicle to cool down the engine, much more than you would see them in my Boxster. They stick out and flare out much like a Ferrari. And then the fact that when you're looking out the rearview mirror and you see the engine and you see all these things that you wouldn't normally see out of a normal everyday vehicle, I get what he means by calling it like a supercar, you know? And now it doesn't push supercar numbers, right? Like, this is a 1.7 liter turbocharged engine. 1.7, I mean, that's not supercar sounding at all. That might be subjective in the sense of, to you, does it feel like a supercar? Does it check the boxes of like what might be a supercar for you? You know, and I think, yeah, why not? It does check the box with a few things here and there. And who knows, you know, you tune this engine, take it to the racetrack, probably beating some fast cars out there. I don't know. The tachometer, it's all digital. There's carbon fiber around it. The stitching on here, the lack of like technology on certain things, and just the feel of this, where there's no assistance with the steering. And what I mean is, like, when you're in those really low, it feels like there's no power steering at all. Yeah, it feels like a supercar for sure. But anywho, I've been rambling on like pretty non-stop about the car and how it feels. This is definitely really nice. Guys, please, folks, please check out the next few videos I got coming out with this car, because I think you're gonna like what you see. Give you a tour of the vehicle. I'm also gonna do what I normally do, which is like a nice golden hour shot of the car from the outside and nice close-ups of the car. That's another video. And then I might do like a fourth video with it, where I'm just kind of like you know, vlogging with it and giving it any other things that I might have missed right now, and some thoughts of, you know, having it for 24 hours before I give it back to the person I rented it from on Turo. So I'm gonna end it right here. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't done so, please subscribe, comment, share with anyone that might like this type of content, and yeah, stay tuned for the other videos I got coming up. Thanks again. I'll talk to y'all later.